mindset does it take to beat lust? And why would you even want to beat lust? Especially as a man in this world, I think that lust is one of the most dangerous things to your self-development, to your growth, and to your overall well-being as a growing man. Because in the sad reality, it's one of the biggest distractions. Anything worth doing in this life, whether it's starting a family, whether it's building a business, whether it's working on yourself, your person, or even building a relationship with a significant other, with another woman, what it requires is focus. What it requires is focused attention. And if you are subjective to lust, if you are distracted by lust, it will ruin every single aspect of your life. How do I know this? Because I was a victim to lust for a long time. Ever since, I don't really talk about this, but ever since I got into like grade, I think young age, I was exposed to porn. My first age, I think it was like grade 4, 5, 6, one of those 3 years, I don't remember exactly. One of my friends, brought it up. He had older brothers that were exposed to porn. And he brought it out during recess, during a lunchtime, and was showing me this video. And can you imagine what that does to a young kid at that age, whatever, 10, 11? I can't even remember. And instantly I was addicted, obviously as a growing boy, going through puberty, going through all these different hormonal changes. And it fucked my life up. It was like the hardest drug to come off of. It was the biggest addiction I've ever had. But once I was able to conquer it, once I was able to get past it and get through it, my life, my relationship, my body, my mind, my relationship with God, and especially my relationship with my fiance became 1,000,000 times better. The number one reason you need to, especially as a young man, kill the addiction that you have with porn or lust, or porn, is because it leads to lustful thoughts. What you consume in your mind becomes what you think about and how you perceive reality. So if you're watching all these pornographic videos, all these stupid things online, how do you think you're going to view woman as a man? How do you think you're going to view a relationship? Obviously not in the best way. Your whole idea of what a relationship is for, your whole idea of what you are as a man is going to be completely twisted and skewed. It's not only until I made a conscious decision that no, I'm not going to watch this anymore. I feel like I'm cheating on my girlfriend. No, I'm not going to watch this anymore. My confidence has gone below my feet. I have no confidence. I can't stand with my shoulders pulled back. I can't even think what I say. I can't even express my own opinions. And I'm always worried about what people are saying about me and judging me. And I didn't want to live that way. So I knew there had to be made a change. And it started with what I was consuming. Because I knew from an early age, you become what you consume. It was said by a lot of people, my parents would always tell me, watch who you hang out with, because who you hang out with is who you will become. And you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with. And that saying doesn't only go for the people. If you only watch, for example, one type of person on YouTube, right? Another form of media, another type of form of content, and don't watch anybody else, that is another person that the sum of the 5 people you hang out with, that is the sum of the person that you listen to, that you hear their stories, their values, their morals, what they stand for, what they do in this life. You will eventually become like that person, right? That's why it's very important, if you want to become a good moral man and lead with integrity and lead with and have a righteous, full and meaningful life, you stem from Jesus' teaching from the Bible. spend time with him every single morning to develop a right path in life. That's what I do. I wake up every single morning, and I know the first thing I'm going to do is prime my mind with positive thinking and with lessons and with stories and with teachings from arguably the greatest man in the world, God. So that's what I realized at a young age. And then I realized that I was almost spending more time on porn and watching these stupid videos than I was, with women. And I was wondering why I had a hard time talking to women. I was wondering, why do I have a hard time giving a woman a compliment? Because I had it skewed in my mind, this broken and twisted way of seeing women and seeing them the way that, porn shows them, rather than the way that God shows them, or the way that they were created to be, right? Just another extension of me and you, but just another person. Just, like, if you're a man watching this, dude, a woman is literally you, but female. You don't need to be scared. They think the same way, or maybe not the same way, that's a little bit stretching it, but they still are living this life like you are, experiencing it for the first time. They're just another creature. You don't need to be scared of them. You just need to develop the confidence that comes with overcoming lust. And the first step of overcoming lust is quitting porn. The second step of overcoming lust is rewiring your relationship to women and how you see women, which comes from having conversations with them, which comes from, once you've broken and beaten that addiction of porn, you step into creating and watching videos about, whether it be, relationship videos, how to talk to women, how to get out of your comfort zone, maybe something like this, whatever it may be, for you to, get out of that fear of rejection, that fear of, whatever perception you have. Some people are scared of women, some people are scared of rejection, some people are, whatever it may be, you got to overcome that fear. Then, and only then, you can start, once you're having conversations with women, you can start looking at them as friends. And my biggest advice to anybody that's new here or that's watching me for the first time is, if you're even thinking about getting into a relationship with somebody, your goal shouldn't be getting into this relationship for sexual reasons. Your goal should be getting into a relationship with somebody to build to build a strong, bonded friendship. Your relationship, if you can't be friends with your partner, it's going to end in divorce, it's going to end in misery, it's going to end in suffering. Why? Because you hope to God, you spend the rest of your life with this person. And if you only see this person as, in a lustful point of view, you're not going to be able to go enjoy vacations with this person, because you're only going to be thinking of them from a lustful point of view. You're not going to be able to travel the world with this person. You're not going to be able to, create memories, play soccer with them. You're not going to be able to do all these things that you would do with your, your boys or your best friends. Why? Because your perception is skewed. You're looking at it through a lustful point of view. And how do you break that viewed perception? Create a friendship with the opposite gender. If you're a man watching this, try, before getting into a relationship with a woman for lustful reasons, develop a friendship-based relationship first. And then you can move into the intimate side of things. Obviously, a relationship can't be a relationship if it's not intimate. But the core foundation of what a relationship should be built on is friendship. Because you are marrying your best friend, hopefully, you are going to eventually start a family and start kids and, make sacrifices for this person. So you want to make sacrifices like I do all the time for my fiance, because she's my best friend. She's my ride or die. She's my, She's the one that keeps pushing me, my biggest supporter, motivator, and whatnot. But I wouldn't be able to see her that way if I just saw her as this, lustful creature. And it's really hard as a man in this generation, I won't lie to you, and I'm susceptible to it every single day. Because why? Because this generation is built on two things: money and women. That's what drives this economy. That's what drives sales. That's what drives all capitalism. Right? You want to make more money. You want to impress women. You want to have whatever. And that's the sad reality of it, but it is the way that it is. And if you haven't noticed, as a man, you are being marketed this way. You're being marketed through OnlyFans. Your attention's going to porn, OnlyFans, all these magazines, all these clothing brands hire the most and sexualize the shit out of everything. So when you start realizing this, awareness is the first key. Because when you're aware, you can make decisions based on, oh, okay, I know this is what they're trying to do, so I can avoid it. Same in the fitness industry. Why do you think they make all these, fitness scrunchies, to pull and show the woman's ass? Obviously, it's, one thing to show your glutes and your muscles, but it's another thing when it's super sexualized. And it's not to say, oh, it's not a bad or a good thing, but the important thing is you can't just see a woman for her ass. You got to see her for her soul, for her kindness, and for her love. But you can't if your mind is full of lust. So if you've got to look away for a while until you have full control over your mind, then that's what you got to do. The best, and after, you've moved into those things of talking to women, or maybe you're not ready to go into the talking stage, quit porn and build some confidence into yourself. How do you build confidence? Get into the gym, start developing a physique that you are proud of, start developing habits that you see yourself doing, and stick to them. Because like a lot of people say, confidence isn't shouting things in the mirror, oh, I'm confident. It's doing things every single day, or every single week, or however you've planned out for yourself, and sticking to your word. It's not going back on your word, but rather continually showing up even on days when you don't want to show up. And the best way to do this, to build confidence, is in the gym. You don't want to show up every single day like I do. I don't want to show up every single day, especially when I was cutting. I was having horrible workouts. I just wanted to go home. I would, even try to skip the workouts, or not skip workouts, but cut them short, 20, 30 minutes. Back when I was bulking, I was full of energy. I'd be sticking at the gym. Obviously, I had more time on my hands because I was in high school. 2 hours, and it was great. I was, eating calories through the roof. Now my calories and my time is a little bit lower, but I still get it done. I still show up because I've built the habit, but also I know that's where my confidence and the foundation of my confidence is built in. Showing up to something every single day, no matter how you feel, no matter how you, the excuses that are going on in your head, no matter what kind of shitty things you're going through in life, you just show up. And that's how confidence is built. And then you can bring that to, if you don't have the confidence to approach or talk or compliment women, that's what you can bring it to after you've developed the confidence in yourself. But confidence is really built through repetition. That's why, for example, if you see a new car mechanic and somebody who's a senior is going to be able to do the same job in 5 minutes versus a new mechanic is going to do the same job in 5 hours. Why? Because they've done it so many times that they're confident in themselves. They don't need to be checking the manual. They don't need to be asking people, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? They don't need to, spend so much time on it because they've done it repeatedly over and over again. And that's also where confidence comes from. And to bring it back to the gym, because this is a more gym-focused, fitness-based account, trying to help you guys get in shape, build confidence, get the body of your dreams, get the woman of your dreams, have the confidence of your dreams. It's the same thing. Like when I first started out at the gym, I was really nervous what people are thinking about me. Like, dude, am I doing this workout right? Am I doing this exercise right? What are people really thinking about me? I'm sure they're making fun of me. They're probably laughing at me. And then, you know, you show up every single day, year after year, year after year, and then you're like, okay, this is how I do this. You know, you're watching everybody else do this stuff. You're watching somebody else do bench press. Oh, that's how he does it. Oh, okay, that's how I'm supposed to do it. And then you realize it's such a positive space and nobody's really judging anybody. You know, if somebody that's obese shows up to the gym, most of the people there, especially if you've been there for a long time, they like to see people like that because they're going to have a wicked transformation. You know, I'm happy this guy's here. Wow, like good for you. Show up, man. The gym isn't some place where it's like, you know, judgment and fear. But obviously, as a new person, just like with anything, you start a new job, you start a new career, you get into a new relationship, there's this unease and tension at the beginning because you're not totally comfortable with it. And comfortability and confidence really go hand in hand. So I'm going to break it down to you in the final 2 steps. In order to defeat lust, you need to do 2 things. Number 1, if you haven't already, quit porn. There's not, oh, I'm so addicted, oh, I don't know how to do it. Just stop. It's fucking that simple. You want to do it, you tell yourself no. Why? Because you don't want to live in lust. Or whatever else your why may be. That was my why. I didn't want to be tied down and have an addiction on this earth. Number 2, once you've made the conscious decision and you've quit, you build confidence. How do you build confidence? Repetition in something. Whether it be your job, whether it be at the gym, whether it be repeatedly complimenting and talking to women and getting practice. And then through time, once you flush out that sexualized version of yourself, it's not going to be overnight. You know, it took me 4 years to completely wipe myself full of lust, and I still get tempted here and there. But it's, you know, I notice it much faster, and it's easier to direct my mind in a different way. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. But with those 2 things, quitting porn, noticing the sexuality around yourself, and building confidence in yourself, you will have no problem and you will succeed, and you will develop the mindset of a man that is stoic, that is not lustful. I love you guys. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you found some value from it, like, comment, and subscribe. Connect with me on Instagram and LinkedIn. And if you are looking for fitness coaching, send me a DM with the word fit, and I'll see if you're a good fit. No pun intended. And I love you guys. Create more than you consume. Serve others. Love everyone. Peace.